Hello folks, Tom Reeder again, as we're continuing on in the book of Luke. Luke says some things that some of the other disciples haven't said. He's more on with a few comments. So we looked at the precursor to what's going to happen to Jesus' return. And the warnings again that he's told us beforehand. And now he tells us in verse 15, during this time, I will give you a mouth and wisdom which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist, even though they're going to be betrayed and some put to death. But our patience will possess our souls. And now we're going to finish the next few verses about the great judgment. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter therein. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in the days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon the people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentile be fulfilled. The destruction of Jerusalem. Of course, it originally happened in 70 AD, but there is another possibility this could happen again. Now let's think about this. When you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, you'll see it. There be armies everywhere. Again, I've never been to Jerusalem, but I've seen it. And it's upon a mountain, which most cities in that time period were, because then you would only have to defend one side of it, because you have a great big hill on most of it, which they can't very well get up on. So it means they've got to come around and attack from one side and one side only. And with that in mind, you're going to see your enemies, and you're going to see how many, the multitudes of them, what kind of weapons they're using, what kind of devices they're going to break down the walls, how they're going to accomplish coming in and taking your city. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then you know the desolation thereof is nigh. It doesn't say how soon, but it's like everything else Jesus is saying. Be alert, watch, observe. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains. Why is that? It's going to be impossible for them to get into Jerusalem with the enemy right on the front door. It's going to be awful hard. And then once they do get in there, what's going to happen? You're going to have way too many people in there. Food's going to run out. The water's going to run out. More people are going to get killed. And let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. Again, the same thing's going to happen. This is a time for escaping, fleeing for your life, desperation. Verse 22, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Written where? Throughout the entire book of the Bible, prophets, the Old Testament, the teachings of the elders, what Jesus says, the book of Revelation. It doesn't say directly, but there's hints of a time that is coming. Most of your Jews knew that there were 3 decades that all Jews had to face at one time or another. One was this world is a sinful world, and it's never going to be anything but a sinful world until everything is redeemed by Christ. Then in some of the minor and major prophets, there's a warning about God's going to come back and avenge the sin. In that time period, there's going to be wrath poured out. And then the next time period is when the Lord comes for his people. These are plainly bedded in the Jews' minds from the time they're able to learn till they die. And so a lot of their hope is on some of this stuff that's being said and spoken by Jesus and others. All things which has been written by Jesus and God through the prophets, are going to be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that suck in those days. For there shall be a great distress on the land, and wrath upon this people. In other words, mothers who are nursing children, babies, and have children, it's almost going to be possible for them to escape. It's going to be devastating for them, as well as some others. For there shall be a great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people, meaning those who are living there, if they don't flee and get out before it happens. Verse 24, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, and the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. In other words, when the Gentiles get done, then things are over with. The time period is not given here. But they're going to destroy Jerusalem, the temple, and whatever else that's in their hearts. They're going to ransack and savage whatever's there. Cruelty to people, to animals. It's all going to be done like in a lot of the wars that have been fought. There's no innocent person. It's just pure death and misery that's going to be upon these people, being used by God to bring judgment upon this area because of their multitudes of sin from the past, that they haven't turned back to God. Short period of Scripture, but it tells judgment. It tells what's going to happen. And next we'll move on to the other things that shall be happening.